Yeah, I mean, we're really excited for this season. Coming off a Final Four season last year, you really come into the next season with a lot more energy. And, we've had a great fall season. We're really excited for the competition we have this year. The Big Ten is always so tough that we're bringing back a lot of leadership and some young players that are going to contribute. So we're excited to get the season started. We're starting earlier than we've ever started on February 4th against Albany. So we're excited to get things going.
So last year you mentioned the deep run in the tournament, a goal away from a potential national championship bid. How does an end to the season like that where you get so far? How does that help motivate you heading into this season?
Well, I think that game in particular really showed how ready we were to compete at the highest level. To get back to the Final Four after not being there for a while, and then compete against the eventual national champion to a point. Was really not. It wasn't just about getting there. It was about getting there and really proving that, we could be among the top teams in the country, and that process starts all over again this year. To get to the point where no matter what team we're playing, we really want to get out there and prove, that we belong among the top teams in the country.
For Erica and Abby, with the long time you run with you and your teammates were able to get a lot of big game experience. How does that experience help shape you better this season?
I think just to start, it kind of gives us a feel of what it's like to be there and how great those games feel and how pumped you are on those game days. So we're excited to hopefully see that again eventually, but also just gets the experience of like playing the top teams and going against other people who are the top players in the nation when you know hopefully we see them again.
Yeah, and going off of that, what Erica said, it was a great experience playing at such a big stage, but it was just like any other game. So bringing that into this season, yeah, we have the experience getting to the Final Four, but just making it known to the underclassmen that there's no pressure once you get there. It's just like any other game. You approach it the same way.
So you're turning 8 starters. How much does that help you that you already have a lot of your starting lineup already have an established chemistry?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, this team has worked harder than any other team since I've been here. Then that increases every single year. You get more and more, chemistry or expectations are more normal. But, returning a big defensive group for the most part has really helped us, experience-wise, stay on top of things. Our attack is a little bit younger. We have Steph Lazo down there as a senior, Abby in the midfield, Taylor in the midfield. But other than that, there's a lot of mix with freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. So, I think defense, we're really ready to come out and stay on top of things. Offense, we're still trying to gel as best we can.
So with the players you already see in your starting lineup, who's now your midfield as well as your starting goalie, how are those losses going to affect you, and how do you plan to get a smooth transition into this?
Yeah, I mean, I think the midfielders we lost, they were playmakers. As a coach, you try to set them up for success, but when it comes crunch time, you have the players that are able to take over the game and score a big goal or get a big draw control. And losing our midfielders that we lost, those were the players that really came up for us in crunch time, along with some players that we have back for this year's team. But I think that's still what we're developing, especially offensively when it comes down to crunch time. Who are those players that are going to really take over. From our fall, Steph Lazo, Madison Carter did a great job of that. I think to be successful for the course of the season, we probably need 2 or 3 more people to really be those go-tos that when crunch time comes, they take over and score those points like those seniors that we lost did. I mean, from goalkeeping, Emmy did a great job. We have 2 hardworking goalkeepers this year. Kat's coming in with a lot of experience, and Madison Cunningham's a freshman who just keeps getting better. So we have some good competition in that position. I think also with the experience we have coming back from defense, it helps that goalkeeping position because it's not like they're going to have young players in front of them. They're going to have some pretty experienced players.
For Erica and Abby, both of you heading into your senior season, what's the feeling like heading into the final year, and what types of things are you hoping your team could help you accomplish?
I mean, each year I've been here, the program has made strides in the right direction. My sophomore year, winning Big Tens, getting to the Elite Eight, then last year making it to the Final Four. So this year, I just hope to make the best year of my last year, and I'm really excited, looking forward to starting the season. It's a little bit bittersweet, but ready to make the most of it.
Yeah, and like Missy said earlier, this is like one of the hardest working groups of girls that I've ever played with. So kind of just learning together and growing as a team is what I look forward to the most every season. And then hopefully eventually that gets us to, some goals that we want to hit later in season.
Last year you had 500 in play. What are you looking to do differently this year when it comes to trying to tackle?
Yeah, I mean, the Big Ten opponents are some of the top teams in the country. So, and we had great games against them all last year. But, it's a testament to where we are in our season, how hard we're playing those teams. They're always tough. There's always a little bit more of an edge when you're going against those Big Ten opponents. But, our season is divided in two. The early part of our games are against non-conference opponents who are pretty tough. And, then we have the second season in April going against all our Big Ten games. So I don't think you put a separate emphasis on either section. I think I'm so proud of the team so far this year for how hard they work at practice. I like to be able to see at practice what we're going to do in games. And I think their effort in fall and now in preseason has really shown that who knows what's going to happen, but we are going to be working hard. And you have to be able to do that, obviously, against not just the Big Ten teams, but the top out-of-conference teams we're playing.
Are there any tactical changes that you guys have been working in the offseason that you're looking to implement this season different than last year?
Yeah, I mean, I think, over the course of the past 2 years, a lot of our offense has transitioned into the low attack players. A lot of the pressure in the previous years have come from the midfield to come down and score a lot of our goals, whereas now we really have some really talented low attackers that have been working well together. So a lot of our offense has shifted into the lower attack, which is great. I mean, it takes some of the pressure off the midfield to have to come and do too much. So, talking about what we graduated and kind of what we're transitioning to, you might see some more goals from, our low attack as opposed to our midfield. Other than that, we want to continue to push ourselves. We have a lot of depth this year. There's a lot of players contributing in different areas. So as coaches, we just want to figure out how to maximize those players. So we might see more running subs and getting people in and out as opposed to using the same core people for a majority of the game.
Is there anyone you've seen particularly on the team that's been impressive in the offseason or that you're expecting to have a breakout year this season?
Well, Madison Carter was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year last year, which I guess you could call a breakout season for her last year. But, she's come in even this year and just gotten even better and more dominant. Steph Lazo, another attacker for us, who's a senior. She's always been a great player for us, but she's really amped it up to another level. And then, we have the two of these guys. I mean, consistent leaders, hard workers, consistently setting an example for what it means to be a Penn State women's lacrosse player. You're going to come, you're going to work hard, you're going to have great character and your priorities in the right place. So thankfully, these two captains are really setting the tone for the rest of the team, and they continue to get better and better as well. We have asked Abby to play pretty much every position but goalie since she's been here. This year she's transitioning back to the midfield from being a defender. We asked her to do that in the middle of the Final Four game last year, and she went in and scored 3 goals. So, and Erica has just come back to be another huge leader on defense. She's also gotten so much better throughout the course of fall ball, transitioning into being a game-changing type of player. So you really need a little bit of that from a lot of different people, and thankfully we've really seen that not just in one person, but in multiple people coming in. I mean, I could go through our roster right now and pick out the majority of our team that brought a little extra starting in this past fall.
And then Albany is just 2 weekends away. What are you seeing from them, and what are you looking to try and do to try and start off the year?
Yeah, I mean, they always play us tough. So we haven't played them in a couple years, but they always play us tough. So it's going to be a work ethic battle the entire game. We have to be ready to come out to play our game, get some of the cobwebs out. I think when our offense is playing against the same defense practice after practice, it's almost refreshing to get out against another defense to see what's working and what's not. But, we don't have a scrimmage. We're starting with a game. So there's a lot of pressure that goes into being making sure you're ready to compete right away. So that'll be our adjustment once that game gets started. But I think we're bringing a great group to 2017. We're super excited to get started. I know these guys really, really love preseason, but they are excited for the games to begin.
And lastly, 4 home games to start off the schedule. How's the home field advantage?
Yeah, I mean, we tend to play better at home. It is an advantage for us. We obviously like to get outside and play a little bit more than playing indoors. But, again, we had a really, really tough travel schedule last year, and this year it's pulled back a little bit more. So it'll be nice to be at home. It'll also be nice not to be, north, south, east, and west in our out-of-conference schedule. But we're excited to start from home. We have amazing facilities here, and we're so lucky that we're able to start and possibly play inside, possibly play outside, and have that option to really get going early.
I see your program has been knocking on the door for quite a few years before you got last year's run. How hard is it to try to figure out what the last step is, or what you have to do to make that last step in the program?
Yeah, I mean, I think when we got to the Final Four, I told the players going into that weekend that we got there for a reason, and it's because we were ready. We didn't get there before because maybe we weren't quite as ready for it, and I think when we played that semifinal game, you could really see that we were ready for that stage. And I think, nothing's changed. I think that any game that weekend with all 4 of those teams could have gone a different way, playing a different day. So, we think we're ready, and we think we're ready to compete throughout our regular season schedule. I think some of our challenge for this year is getting through our regular season schedule consistently. I think we battled a little bit of that last year with the ups and downs of our regular season. So I think to get to where we want to go, we have to demonstrate a little bit more consistency and with the work ethic, again, that they've had through the fall and through preseason, they're demonstrating that consistency in those efforts. So we're hoping that'll pay off when our games begin.
What would you say the state of women's lacrosse is in the state of Pennsylvania and recruiting and trying to expand the game?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the fastest growing sports, and certainly in Pennsylvania, it's super strong. I mean, there's other areas that are still building, but as soon as the sport's introduced, it keeps getting better and better. Our recruiting is always trying to get the top kids in Pennsylvania to come to Penn State, and we've been able to do that. So we're going to continue with that, and thankfully, there's some of the top high schools in the country are in Pennsylvania, so it's good to get that talent to Penn State. Yeah, I mean, I think that's, like Abby talked about, every year is a little bit different, and certainly, with our regular season being a little bit up and down, you have to get used to the teams that, are coming for you. And I think that's something our program's growing into, and building that consistency means we're not approaching, this opponent more, with the more effort than the next opponent. And I think our team's getting used to that. We're getting better at it, but I think that's the next transition we need to make, is to play like a top team every chance we get.
So with all this success, how do you win a national title?
Well, we never really put the end game in there. I always tell the players I really love coaching. Like, I love coaching the big play that you guys make, no matter what game it is. I love the fact that I'll remember a huge interception Erica made in our Albany game, and I'll remember, the huge goal Abby scored in our Towson game. I think moments and experiences and memories are made up of those huge moments that you put yourself out there and made a big play, and you never know when that big play is going to happen. So that's really our focus, and that's really my enjoyment from coaching. And I think, if you ask the players, the memories that they really made from last year, it might not even be in some of the bigger opponents or games or whatever, but it's that time they really took the risks and put themselves out there and saw those risks pay off. So that's what I love about coaching. We never really guarantee or talk about the end game, but we talk about how mentally and physically you can get to a point where you're in a big game and you want to make that big play, and those big plays are the ones that you remember.
And lastly, how do you get off the momentum last?
I think, and that's the fun part of coaching as well. I mean, every year is different. We have new personnel, we have different players. We're a little younger on the offense than we were last year. We're a little older on the defense. We don't want to take that for granted. So facing those different challenges and making the most of what our team makeup is this year is what we're trying to do. We're excited for the season. I'm excited to go into it with these players. Every day I've been just amazed through fall ball and preseason how hard they worked, and we push a little harder and they respond even better. So it's just fun to coach them. It's fun to be around them, and we're just excited for the games to start.
Big Ten, how hard is the hurdle that is Maryland and Northwestern?
Well, I mean, we love those hurdles. I think when I first got here, it was tough playing the Northwesterns and the Marylands. And, now that we've gotten the team to where it is, those games are fun. We're ready to make big plays. Winning the Big Ten championship 2 years ago was awesome. So, we think we're right in that mix. And, I think we're ready to bring our best games to everyone. But obviously, when you enter those games, there's just a different level of excitement. But I think the way our players have handled it the past couple years has been great. I mean, we've been in every game.
Any other questions?
What stood out in particular about this group of girls this year? Or like any favorite role either?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, and how these guys feel too. I mean, it's just been kind of seamless, I guess is the best word I can say. I mean, we've challenged them, we've pushed them, conditioning and practice and leadership, and they just respond. I mean, the best teams are ones that the coaches are able to organize and implement, but then at some point the players take over. And I think in good areas, the coaches are working hard to implement what we need to implement, and then in good areas, the players are taking over. And it's just a really good balance of both of those things. It's not, when the balance comes on the coach to have to kind of do everything, it's maybe not the best team setup, and vice versa. If the players feel like they have to do everything, that's not the best setup either. So I would say like the balance of those two things has been really fun this year. It's just been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I think like on and off the field, whether we're in the locker room or stepping on the field for practice or a game, we kind of have a great assortment of personalities and assortment of who brings what every single day in every situation. So it kind of helps like with checks and balances of the whole team. We have a lot of different leadership styles through the upperclassmen, and then the underclassmen are even stepping up and making their way a little bit too. So it helps a little bit of a balance around the team rather than just, a couple people here, a couple people there.
I mean, how awesome is he? I mean, my son was like, Hoagie, Hoagie, Hoagie. I'm like, it's Hogan. He's like, I don't care. It's Hoagie. So every time he caught it, we were cheering for him. What a proud moment for Penn State lacrosse to see somebody that, went through lacrosse here and now is killing it for the Patriots. And, I'm an instant Patriots fan now. I'm pumped for them to get to the Super Bowl. It gives you the chills to think about someone and their story and how they're making the most of their moments. It's what I talk to our girls about, but then now you see someone that really just keeps making the best of the moments he's been presented with, and what a great example for Penn State and Penn State lacrosse.
Was that cool for you guys to see just a former lacrosse player playing also Penn State lacrosse in that too?
Yeah, I mean, that was so exciting for us to see. And if I'm not mistaken, his fiance as well played women's lacrosse here. So it's great to just see a Penn State lacrosse family making us so proud and getting the Penn State name out there in a positive way.
Agreed. I was kind of in and out of the game, so I didn't see it all. But every time I turned around, I feel like the TV was like, Chris Hogan, which is so exciting to see.
Is there going to be a viewing party for the Super Bowl?
I mean, there has to be, right? Come on, let's go already. No, it's just so fun to see and so fun to watch, and just to have my young sons get into it and me be able to tell the story of him, and how you just keep working and you never know where your path's going to take you, but hard work does pay off, and what a great example of that in him and how well the Patriots are doing.
If you guys have a huge Penn State lacrosse game party, let us know.
Okay, will do. You're invited.
Awesome.